You can include multiple grids on a single Smart View worksheet. The selected grids can be from the same data source or different data sources, and each grid can come from a cube or a form. You can retrieve data in these grids and work with each grid independently from one another. This lets you retrieve and analyze related data side by side. Let's start by opening an ad hoc grid. To open a second ad hoc grid, I'll select a range of cells, at least 2 rows and 2 columns. I don't see an option for using multiple grids. It looks like I need to set that up. Before you create a multiple grid worksheet, Smart View must be connected to a supported cloud EPM data source, and the service application must use standard ad hoc behavior for Smart View. This setting enables users to work with more than one ad hoc grid on a worksheet. I'll start with a new worksheet and add one grid, and then a second grid. This time, a prompt gives me the option to work with multiple grids. And I'll add another grid. You only need to select the multiple grid option the first time you add more than one grid. Let's set up the first grid. I'll select an account. With multiple grids on a single Smart View worksheet, you modify the point of view, POV, for each grid individually using the specific in-grid POV. Let's include some additional periods. I'll zoom out on Q2, and I'll zoom in on your total so that I can see all the quarters. Notice as I drill down on members and select members in one grid, the other grids adjust to fit within the provided space. This keeps related grids visible while you focus the selected grid. I'll keep one entity, and I'll zoom in on an account. I'll use ad hoc commands, such as remove only, and I'll zoom in on the time periods so I can see the months in the first quarter. You can enter and submit data on grids. I'll enter data for rent expense in one grid and utilities in another one. To save your data, you submit it. There are 3 options for submitting data. Submit data submits the data on the selected grid. With multiple grids on a worksheet, you save data on one grid at a time. I'll enter data for both office supplies and postage. I'll select the postage data and submit it using the Submit Data Range option. Submit Data Range submits only the selected cells. If other dirty cells exist outside the selected range, those changes are not submitted and revert to the last value stored with the provider. The office supplies data was not saved. Before we take a look at another submit option, I'll remove data for an account. I'll change some data in the top grid. Notice that data for office supplies was not modified. I'll submit without refresh. Next, I'll refresh to see the data that is stored in the cube. There is data for telephone expenses, an account I changed, and for office supplies, an account I did not change. Submit data without refresh submits all data on the selected grid whether or not you modified the data. I'll create a free-form grid by entering members onto the worksheet. I'll associate my free-form grid to a cube. After entering the free-form layout, associate the grid with a Cloud EPM cube and start ad hoc analysis. I'll open a second grid a little further down on the worksheet, and I'll respond to the multiple grid prompt. You can add columns and rows to your ad hoc grids. I'll add a column so that the second quarter is displayed. After filling out the column's information, I'll refresh to see the data. I'll also add a row and fill in the labels for that new row. I'll refresh to see the data. Multiple grid worksheets support a broader ad hoc workflow. Depending on the data source and your permissions, you can use Smart View functions, add cell comments, and launch business rules from Smart View. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.